Hey YouTube, coming at you with community analysis. Pikipek is getting a community day, and we are getting one of the crazier moves I've seen. It's a fantastic move for Go Battle League. So definitely when you want to get on the Pokemon, and we're gonna go over how strong it makes this Pokemon. So tomorrow, Sunday, November 30th, 2 to 5, Pikipek, toucannon will get Beak Blast. So we'll go over that stat in a second. And the only other thing we'll talk about here is the main event bonus here is 3 times XP. So if you're trying to grind to level 80 and you don't have those XP yet, you can get a way to grind it up here. Otherwise, it's the same old, same old. Okay, so I'm using the next season rankings here. So this will be relevant for next season. Toucannon Shadow 92, non-Shadow 2, 124. I'm going to just go over the stats and everything for the non-Shadow just so you know, but then if you're going to add on 20% and take out 20%, you can go from there. So Toucannon is first a normal flying Pokemon. We have one of those. It is Pharaoh. So normal flying, weak to electric, ice, and rock, and double resisting ghost, double resisting ground, single resisting bug, and single resisting grass. In terms of the typing, Pharaoh has a lot of play as a safe swap in this meta. I think you only had a couple electric, and one of the electrics got nerfed. And the offset there, you had ice, which just got buffed. And because of that, Bastion and everything is still out there. Maybe with more ice, you maybe see even more rock than normal. So potentially a hurt there. But Ghost also got buffed, and you double resist Ghost. Ground has been meta forever, and you resist Ground. Bug got buffed in previous season. And unfortunately, grasses, there's not just a ton of that yet. In terms of stats, Glass Cannon, as you can see by the negative here in the traits, 137 attack, 96 defense, 123 stamina. So quite attack heavy, which is kind of why you are seeing the two Shadow ranked better. It's a mixture of your Glass Cannon anyways, and this Beak Blast here. So you have Peck, which was buffed previous season, 4 energy, 3.6 damage when you get same type of attack bonus on it. So typical 4-3 combo here, which makes it a good move. You have the recommended moves are Drill Peck and Beak Blast. So you'll have 2 options here. So you know what? I think it makes this is why some people just may use Pharaoh anyways, because with Pharaoh you get coverage. Pharaoh, you have a drill run to throw at your opponents. Again, so I think they're going to play, even though they're the same typing, they're going to play differently, even though Pharaoh's more attack heavy as well. Not this attack heavy, it's got a little more bulk and a little less attack. But have the Peck, which is nice. Running Drill Peck, which is a nice move, which is what Pharaoh runs as well. 40 for 84, 2.1, and that's without the Shadow bonus. But this Beak Blast, 55 for 132, 2.4, because it is such a nuke. It does lower your attack, 100% chance of lowering your attack, but 14 turns to get to 132 damage move, which is why the Shadow is the recommended move, because you have the attack stat, which goes up 20%, and you have the move, which goes up 20%. So now you have 158.4 damage move, plus when you're multiplying it, like the attack there's a whole formula for the attack, and it takes into consideration your like attack weight and stuff like that. So with the Shadow 158, which is why when you run the analysis in the Great League between the Shadow and non-Shadow, the Shadow has 5 more wins and 34 more average. So you pick up Altaria, Corsola, Cordilli, Ferret, Malamar, Primeape, Regidrago, Togekiss. End up going, was that neutral loss? Yeah, tied. Annihilate, and then you end up losing Licky Licky and Mandibuzz. But those are a lot of big wins against meta Pokemon. As you can see, let's just do the Togekiss one. Can you not just go Drill Peck on Togekiss? Yeah, you can go 100% just go Drill Peck on Togekiss. So this is one where like I was about to say it's wonky. No, it's not, because you probably in the non-Shadow need to land the other move. But if you don't, you're going to be taken out, right? So in the non-Shadow, double Drill Peck just leaves it just short. So that's that. But man, you could see just how much damage it's doing in the one shield there, that you can just go straight Drill Peck. Where's a bulkier Pokemon that you maybe need to nuke here? I'm wondering if Reggie, you need to nuke here. You can just go straight Drill Peck. Drill Peck. Wow. So Shadow Drill Peck from this Pokemon is going to be insane. It looks like you can take out a lot of Pokemon just with that Drill Peck there. Just because you're getting that extra peck damage in through here. I wonder what it's like in the Zero Shield if they get the moves off first. Wow, there you go. In the Zero Shields, it's the exact opposite. I'm guessing that if you don't get to your charge move here, the opponent's going to take you out. So it's weird that you would still beat Tinkatong. Straight Beak Blast resisted. How strong is this Pokemon? A resisted Beak Blast, two resisted Beak Blasts will take out Tinkatong in the zeros, right? So that just kind of shows you how strong this move is. It looks like where you want to use the Shadow is in the One Shield. Truly, that is the best option in the One Shield. I think it's because the spam on the Drill Peck is fast enough, and because you have enough attack damage behind you, you can actually take out some things with straight Drill Peck. I've got to imagine with any sort of shield advantage, much like a lot of other Pokemon, you're going to look pretty deadly. Yeah, 47 and 4 with the shield advantage. Probably in the 2v1s too, you're maybe a bit lower because, yeah, 43 and 7 is a Shadow. But still, basically just straight domination with the shield advantage with this Pokemon. Which is, again, I don't look too much at that, especially with these glass cannon Pokemon. Like if you're like a not glass cannon Pokemon and you're looking at different shield scenarios with like Marowak and stuff like that, like you can just kind of see what a shield advantage beast looks like. But with a glass cannon that has nuke moves, you're always going to be with these sort of records in the 43, 44. Like you're going to have a super high win to loss ratio with a glass cannon Pokemon because they're so attack heavy and their moves are so hard hitting that of course with the shield you're just going to win a lot of matchups unless you're just getting like walled by the moveset. So I don't read too much into it. The One Shield scenario is kind of interesting, right? 28 and 22 from the Shadow with a 510 average is very nice. So let's just look at the multi with the Shadow just so we can kind of see the key wins and losses here. So you have like I ignore the ones you're supposed to win and I ignore the ones you're supposed to lose. So anything with like a ghost type move, Sableye, Feraligatr, Corsola, they're gonna have Dust Noir, gonna have problems because you're normally you resist. Marowak as a ground's gonna have problems because you're a flyer. Anything that takes super effective like Golisopod is a bug is gonna obviously be an easy matchup. I also ignore the ones that you're supposed to lose. You know, Electric, Rock, Steel is gonna be a big problem for you here. Ice. You're expected to lose those ones. It's always about the mid-game ones that I actually care about to see how strong this Pokemon is. So, for example, Azumarill has Ice Beam, so I guess like it's not a straight 1-for-1, but you will lose that. Shadow Scizor, I think, is just going to outpace you, and because you're so glassy, you're going to have trouble here. And then this is what I think you're going to have trouble with this Pokemon. And it's not surprising Blastoise beat you too. It's the same as like the the Pharaoh matchup. It's going to be Pokemon that don't even need bulk. It's either just are as hard hitting as you, like the Shadow Scizor that outspam you, right? The Drill Pecks are, what do we say they were? Drill Pecks are 5, but they would win. Would Scizor win CMP? 137 to, what is Scizor? Probably around the same thing, no? Yeah, 137. So that's going to be very IV dependent on that one there. Because you're both getting to the moves in 5 and you're both going to take each other out. So it's truly just IV dependent on the Scizor matchup. So keep that in mind. But other Pokemon like Corviknights, everything resists you. But Blastoise, right? Blastoise should probably be able to take you out with one Hydro. And even though you do outpace and you land that Drill Peck, it's damn close. Living it with 5 HP, but they do get that Hydro Cannon to take you out. So it looks like this Pokemon is going to output a hell of a lot of damage. Now, Pharaoh can be used as a safe swap because it has that drill run coverage. Can you use this thing as a safe swap? I don't know. Like, I look at these losses against Stunfisk and Bastiodon, and it just seems like a bad decision to come in as a safe swap on this Pokemon. I don't think you can. I think where this Pokemon's gonna hopefully run wild is like a sweeper, like running. I can see this now. I can see some sort of like Stunfisk Marowak lead with Pharaoh as your safe swap and toucannon in the back. You safe swap Pharaoh, try to draw out those electric, try to draw out those rock, get some drill runs off to chip, probably not win, but chip, finish it off with your ground lead, and then your toucannon roams free with the straight flying moveset. So that is probably something that would work, and I would not be surprised if some people use that sort of strategy, because I think that's probably the best way you play this Pokemon. Is like a closer in the back, or you put it on the lead, and then if you see an electric or something, then you get out and try and flip switch. I think those are the only two ways you can play it, because I do not think you can play this thing as a safe swap with just a flying moveset. But definitely an interesting Pokemon. I did put it in Ultra League. It has a positive record in the One Shield, 26-26. Well, that's not positive. 27-24 is, but both averages are above 500, which means you're doing pretty well. I think the spam of this thing and not being one shot by moves potentially here may allow you to get off some of these Beak Blast nukes, which will probably just up your average, because if you can get off these nukes, even resisted or not, you're going to output a lot of damage on your opponent if you can still just spam these things at 14 and live one of their charge moves. So definitely interesting. Like this, I don't think this Pokemon could be used with any other moveset, right? Because well, I mean, look, we've seen that most of these matchups you can just go straight drill peck. You know, I don't know of having you don't even have a cover move, because Rock Blast would be resisted on Steels too, and so would Flash Cannon. So you don't even have, it doesn't even matter what other move you have, you don't have another move for Steels, and you don't have really another move for like Rock either. Rock Blast would be neutral, and it's just not a good move, so you get killed anyways. So I think it makes sense. It honestly makes sense to run the double flying on this Pokemon, and just having the nuke if you get shields down on your opponent, going for that Beak Blast nuke. And if you're in any sort of neutral matchup, it looks like you just go straight drill peck and you can be pretty good. So kind of an interesting Pokemon to have. Definitely one I'm going to test out. Do I have a Shadow? I have no clue. I have a bunch of Pikipeks. My general rule is I keep one of everything, even if it's a pretty garbage Pokemon, because you never know, right? You never know what moveset it can get. So the general rule is just keep one of everything you can, even if the IVs aren't good. And same with the Shadows. My recommendation is, like, if you can keep one of everything, I ideally look for like the best IVs you can get. So Pikipek is around 1,000,000 times already in the wild, so I probably have good IV ones already. But when it comes to Shadow, the likelihood that you get like an amazing Shadow IV is pretty rare. So my recommendation is just save the Shadow Pokemon no matter what it is, no matter what IVs. I've run with some pretty ugly Shadow IVs, and it does not matter, because some Shadow Pokemon, like in this case here, are just stronger. So yes, may not having ideal IVs may cost you a matchup here and there, but I think having the Shadow versus not having the Shadow seems to make a difference. So it's just one of those things, like if you're doing a Shadow Pokemon battle and you don't have that Shadow Pokemon, keep it. You don't even need to like remove frustration right away. I mean, you might want to, just in case it becomes meta relevant again, and who knows the timing of when you can reset it the next time. But it's one of those things that you probably just should save in case you get some situation like this. Community Day, moveset update, the Shadow becomes relevant again, right? So we've seen, I mean, Celio, the Shadow and non-Shadow is only one. Oh, I've got Shadow versus non-Shadow here, right? The Celio Shadow versus Shadow non-Shadow is like one different. Dust Noir is still pretty close as well. I like using the Shadow version, but 13 versus 29. It's really when you get to like Obama Snow. Oh, that's actually close to nice Shadow Machamp. These are actually still closer than I thought. Sableye, the shadow is right beside the non-shadow now. Marowak is still only 5 and 11. It looks like most of these shadows and non-shadows are pretty damn close right now. I thought it's more of those glass cannon shadows that would generally do better. Steelix is mostly the shadow, right? Which goes against exactly what I said, because Steelix is not a glass cannon. It is a very bulk Pokemon. But the shadow versus non-shadow Steelix is significant difference in the league, in the meta here. And I guess that makes sense when your charge moves are not doing much, right? Psychic Fangs doesn't do much, Crunch does much, but Psychic Fangs lowers the defense, and Thunder Fangs can just like add up. And that's kind of what you want to do when you have like a harder fast move and not so much charge moves, kind of like Scizor, right? That's why Shadow Scizor is way better than non-shadow, because the charge move Night Slash Trailblaze are not really good, but your Bullet Punch is a fantastic move. So when you get the shadow bonus on that, it is better. So this Pokemon, like, is it because Peck, you're getting the extra Peck damage? Maybe. That 3.6 goes up to 4.32. That's not insignificant. But where I think the real difference is being able to spam these drill Pecks at 10. And the difference is 100 damage versus 84. Right? So between just the two of them, you're really adding a lot of pressure on the opponent with that shadow damage. Anyways, that's just a long way of saying, do you need this Pokemon? Do you need it? No. Is it going to be useful? Yes. Should you expect to see it? Yes. Like I said, I would not be surprised if you see that Pharaoh Toucannon backline with Pharaoh trying to draw out a Pokemon that Toucannon cannot deal with. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, have fun on the community day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.